Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Jerry Tope.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we present news we hope you find interesting and report on local issues and events. Call us with your news tips or topics you'd like to see covered at 970-677-4119.
We appreciate you watching DCTV. Today's show is live Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, Durango murder trial, Fort Lewis College dumpster diving, hot new license plate, and more.
Also in the news, Sooter's Fine Climate March along with the weather and the area happenings.
That and more is all coming up today, April 12, 2017. Now, here's the news.
For allegedly killing longtime Durango resident Karen Cunini after a mental evaluation determined he is competent to stand trial. In November, Stallings, age 50, of Farmington, argued he wasn't competent to stand trial, prompting District Court Judge Karen Townsend to postpone court proceedings until a mental evaluation could be conducted. According to Dustin O'Brien, Chief Deputy for the 11th Judicial District Attorney's Office in New Mexico, Stallings underwent a one-day evaluation with a psychologist who found Stallings was competent to stand trial. O'Brien said that Stallings, too, agreed that he would be competent to stand trial. A judge on Tuesday stipulated the finding, sending the case back to the court. Now it moves forward like any other case, O'Brien said. O'Brien added that Stallings, who previously tried to fire his court-ordered attorney and represent himself, will continue to be represented by public defender Thomas Clark, but that could change, he added. Stallings is accused of breaking into Cunini's Flora Vista, New Mexico home in October of 2015 with the intent of stealing her property. Authorities believe Cunini, age 69, came home during the burglary and was shot by Stallings. 2 days after the incident, Stallings was found at a residence in Farmington and refused to come out, inciting a standoff that required the San Juan County, New Mexico Sheriff's Office SWAT team and Farmington police to surround the home. O'Brien said Stallings will stand trial August 2nd and 3rd for two separate but related incidents wherein he allegedly stole Cunini's vehicle and was caught with a shank he made out of a pair of glasses while in jail.
Senator Corum has a new bill he's introduced according to a Durango Herald report. One of the joys of life in Durango is the ability to hop on a bike and leave a car at home as you make your way through the day. It's a common sight in the city, but some individuals take exception to sharing Durango's roadways with cyclists and express their opinion through a display called rolling coal or sooting. You've probably seen it. A diesel truck rolls up to a stoplight, revs its engine, spews out a plume of black smoke, usually in the face of cyclists, hybrid cars, or protesters. Pedestrians also, and they can also do this by flooring as they pass school buses or your lesser-than-theirs car. State Senator Don Corum, Republican Montrose, has seen it happen, and he's trying to stiffen the penalties for it. Senate Bill 278, which would level a $100 fine on individuals who purposely expel exhaust in a manner that obstructs or obscures another person's view of the roadway, or creates a hazard to a driver, bicyclist, or pedestrian, and a $35 fine for individuals who tamper with their emission control system to enable rolling coal. Senate Bill 278 is the second bill on this issue sponsored by Corum this session. It was passed Tuesday by Senate Transportation Committee on a 3-2 vote. Senator Ray Scott, Republican Grand Junction, sided with Democrats on the committee. The earlier version was killed by GOP over concerns it targeted commercial and agricultural vehicles that install chips to increase performance. Spencer Compton, managing director of Durango Wheel Club, said he is surprised there isn't a law in place allowing for the fines, as it is an issue that Colorado's cycling community has dealt with for years. During the 2016 legislative session, attempts to level fines against individuals who roll coal were shot down on the belief that it was a fad that would soon pass. Durango City Council member Dean Brookie said the subject of leveling a fine has come up in the City Council meetings but has been tabled for other efforts. While the city hasn't done anything to date, it supports stiffening the penalties. Brookie says he thinks that a $100 fine should be the starting place. Compton said the fine under Senate Bill 278 was a step in the right direction, but he felt targeting of cyclists was more than a nuisance. Having cleared a committee, the bill heads to the Senate floor, where it's likely to pass, and head to the Democratic-held House, which passed a version of the bill earlier in the session.
You can can learn a lot about a person from looking at their trash. Reported in the Durango Herald, that's exactly what they're doing at Fort Lewis College to see how they can make it a zero-waste campus. The Fort Lewis College's Environmental Center recently took 2 days' worth of trash from dumpsters at resident halls and administrative buildings and dumped it on the campus's quad. The goal? To discover what percent of the mess could have been recycled or composted, all the while looking for trends that the center can tackle in an effort to reduce waste campus-wide. For instance, Marty Poole, assistant coordinator, said disposal coffee cups accounted for about 5% of the weight of trash taken from administrative buildings. With this knowledge, Poole said the Environmental Center will think up ways to reduce the need for disposable coffee cups, possibly by encouraging reusable mugs. Another example is that 10% of the entire waste stream taken from the administrative building's trash receptacles were paper towels. One obvious solution is to look at the cost of switching to air-dry hand dryers. In all, volunteers and organizers sorted through about 1,000 pounds of trash. About 1/4 of the trash taken from residence halls and administrative buildings could have been recycled, and about 15% could have been composted, Poole said. Especially with recycling and composting, these problems are challenging because there's a mix of issues with infrastructure and operations, as well as educating each individual on their decisions. While the cafeteria at Fort Lewis College has an industrial-scale compost machine, certain state regulations don't allow students to dispose of food waste in it, and there's no system in place for students to compost at residence halls. Rachel Landis, executive director of the Environmental Center, said it's issues like these that the center has taken the lead on solving. Next year, for example, she wants to partner with Durango-based Table to Farm Compost, which offers roadside pickup to provide composting options for students. Every year, we take a look at what's in our waste stream, which helps our program and provides a striking visual wake-up call about the amount of trash we produce, she said. Fort Lewis College's Zero Waste Initiative is one of a 4-part program, which includes local food security, real food challenge, and energy impact.
April is always a good time to appreciate the renewal in nature, so what better time to host a gathering to discuss sustainability, according to the Cortez Journal. Local advocacy groups, REAP of Southwest Colorado and Montezuma Alliance for Unity, plan a film and essay contest in Cortez, building up to their rally and march in Cortez City Park on April the 29th. The rally and march coincide with the National Climate Mobilization March in Washington, D.C., according to a press release. The Climate Mobilization Rally and March is set for Saturday, April 29 in Cortez City Park. The rally begins at 10 a.m. with speeches, winning student essays, and information tables and music by the Lindells. The march begins at 11 a.m., followed by snacks provided by Taste of India. For more information, email bjstag, that's 2 G's, bjstag7@gmail.com or HeidiVNB@netscape.net. Heidi Brugger, a REAP member and a rally organizer, says, "We encourage everyone who is interested in the health of our planet and a more sustainable future to join us for this public gathering." The groups kick off their campaign with an essay contest for Montezuma County students in kindergarten through grade 12. Themed, "What Can I Do to Help Stop Climate Change and Global Warming?" Organizer Reed Brugger said, "The contest permits entries in any written form, essay, poetry, or rap, which should be 250 to 300 words long. Entries are due April 21st, and prizes will be awarded to the top 3 winners. These winners will read their essays at the Climate Mobilization Rally and March. For information, email Brugger at reedbrugger@gmail.com. REAP will host the viewing of Jared P. Scott's documentary, The Age of Consequences, on Wednesday, April 26th at the Elks Lodge, 2100 North Dolores Road. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the film starts at 7. Admission is free, but donations are accepted. Food and refreshments will be available for purchase. The movie looks at climate with a military perspective about possible economic, societal, and international security issues. REAP will lead a discussion after the movie. For more information, email Jan Dixon at janincortez@gmail.com. Montezuma Alliance for Unity was formed in the past year, composed of Montezuma County Democratic Party and Democratic Women, the local League of Women Voters, the Mancos Blues Ensemble, and the Resource and Energy Action Plan of Montezuma County. It led the Women's March for Unity in January and National Women's History Rally in March. The Resource and Environmental Advocacy and Protection Group, REAP, is an activist group that focuses on environmental, land, and energy issues in southwest Colorado.
Historically funded, this year, Cortez Historical Society will have to wait another year for more surveys, as reported in the Cortez Journal. The Cortez Historic Preservation Board was turned down for a certified local government grant, which means it will not be able to conduct some surveys planned for this year. In a sparsely attended meeting Wednesday, Board Vice President Linda Towle announced that the state-funded grant, which Cortez has received for the past few years, would be awarded to other small towns this year. The board would have used the grant to inventory historic buildings on the south side of Main Street, a project that now will be put off until next year. We have gotten grants from History Colorado 5 out of the last 6 times we applied, Towle said. I kept pointing that out in my grant application, and then I began to wonder if that was going to work against us, and it sort of did. She said History Colorado, which administers grants throughout the state through the Office of Archaeology and Historic Preservation, decided to award the money to a newer applicant this year. Confusion about the grant's purpose might also have hurt the application. She said because grant writers seemed to think it was related to the board's ongoing effort to establish a historical district in downtown Cortez. Towle said she and board president Dale Davidson, who was not present at the meeting, planned to apply for the grant before next year's deadline in January 2018. The Calkins Redevelopment Group's application for a grant to repair the Calkins School building also was rejected. She plans to help the group rewrite it before the next deadline. Board members also discussed plans for their upcoming Historic Preservation Day celebration. And now, let's take a look at our weather.
Forecast models are still very similar to the previous 2 days with only a couple of variations. The first is that along with Thursday being the warmest day expected, it's also expected to reach the lower 70s. It will also be the most windy, with steady winds beginning early in the day at about 5 miles per hour, then climbing to 20 in the afternoon with gusts up to 30 here in Dove Creek. This brings in the second change in conditions, that is fire weather concern for the west central Colorado. Wind gusts up to 40 will be the strongest in the general area from eastern Utah through northwest Colorado, and humidity will be between 8 and 15%. This along with temperatures that are forecast to be 15 to 20 degrees above normal for that area. So a red flag warning will be in effect for tomorrow afternoon and evening. Critical conditions include the I-70 corridor and the Paradox Valley. Planned burns should be replanned for another time. Otherwise, the weather will be warm and sunny into next week anyway, so let's not make it warmer by unwanted fires. An upper-level trough will remain over much of the west coast through the end of the week. This will allow a surface front to slowly track through the Pacific Northwest, northern Great Basin, and Intermountain West. High elevation snow and widespread rain with periods of heavier action is forecast for much of the coastal California area northward into Washington and the northern Rockies. Heavy snow is likely over the northern Cascades and the Sierra for the next few days. Rain and mountain snow will spread into the northern high plains as the cold front crosses the Rockies by Thursday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms will extend from the southern Rockies to the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. Some thunderstorms today across portions of New Mexico and western Texas may turn severe with periods of heavy rain. Embedded areas of higher rainfall will continue into Thursday across the southern plains and for the Midwest and upper Midwest on Friday. Flash flooding may be possible for those areas as well. Showers and thunderstorms will accompany the cold front as it pushes through the eastern states today and into Thursday. Precipitation will taper off by Thursday midday. Time to be in the garden, isn't it? A range of temps between 65 and 73 degrees for highs over the next 5. The lows will run from 36 to 41 degrees. If it were not for the windy bit and the fire weather conditions being a growing concern tomorrow, it would be a perfect week. Now back to the news.
The legislative roundup gives high marks in Schofield units as the Pueblo Chili license plates get the okay. The Durango Herald reported on the various legislative issues currently being addressed. The Colorado Senate was stricken with a series of tasty puns Tuesday morning while discussing a hot piece of legislation that is sure to burn our New Mexican neighbors. House Bill 1012, which would create a special Pueblo green chili license plate, was passed on a 29-6 vote despite groans of dissatisfaction at the lack of the Senate's traditional decorum. Perhaps Senator Matt Jones, Democrat from Louisville, said it best, "I must regretfully say I'm going to vote yes for this saucy number." Besides sending a shot across New Mexico's bow, Tuesday's work included 7 bills passing third reading, 24 receiving second reading, and 28 going before committees. HB 1203, which would allow local governments to level a special tax on retail marijuana if voters approved it, was passed by the Senate 19-16 and heads back to the House for a final look before being sent to the governor to be signed into law. HB 1188, which would update bias-motivated crimes statute by including harassment based on sexual orientation and physical or mental disability, is also headed to the governor after it was passed by the Senate 23-12. HB 1186, which would require insurers to cover a year's supply of contraceptive medicines, and Senate Bill 202, which would transfer funds from the Species Conservation Trust Fund to programs looking to protect native species that are endangered or at risk, were both adopted by the Senate upon second reading and will receive a final vote in the coming days. In the House, 2 bills dealing with campaign financing, HB 1261, which would require all electioneering ads list who funded them, and HB 1262, which would expand the period during which expenditures on advertising must be reported, were approved upon second reading despite Republican opposition. The GOP argued that the bills would negatively affect Coloradans' free speech by removing their ability to promote or criticize a candidate anonymously.
A consortium of 125 scientists from the United States and Canada met at the University of Windsor in Ontario at the end of February. One of the speakers was Dr. Jeff Rueter, special advisor to the Ohio Sea Grant program. Rueter has studied the Great Lakes since 1971. He told the conference he is very concerned about House Resolution 861, a bill introduced in the 115th Congress by Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. This bill calls for the termination of the Environmental Protection Agency. Dr. Rueter said, "If we lose the EPA, we lose Lake Erie." Lake Erie is the smallest of the Great Lakes by volume, yet it has the highest number of people living along its shores of all the Great Lakes. Trump's latest EPA budget proposal would eliminate funding for 52 programs, including those that monitor water quality of the Great Lakes and the Chesapeake Bay. Many other water quality monitoring efforts would also suffer. Now led by avowed EPA opponent Scott Pruitt, the EPA says the new budget will return control of those bodies of water to state and local agencies who allegedly have all the money and resources they need to protect those waterways from harm. The Canadian province of Ontario, as well as the states of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and Michigan border Lake Erie. Nearly 12 million people get their drinking water from it. It became famous in 1969 when one of the tributaries, the Cuyahoga River, caught fire. The incident helped lead to the formation of the EPA and the Clean Water Act. Apparently, America will become great again when its waterways are once again so polluted they burst into flames. Over the past 50 years, there have been incredible improvements to the quality of Lake Erie. But the scientists at the conference admitted they were concerned about some of the old issues that led to Lake Erie's pollution returning once again without constant research, monitoring, and regulations. Algae blooms and invasive species like the Asian carp and zebra mussels imperil fisheries in Lake Erie. The lake also has suffered a 75% decline in the amount of ice covering its surface in the wintertime over the past 50 years. Says Dr. Robert McKay, the Ryan Professor of Biology at Bowling Green State University, it is significant and it parallels the declines in ice cover we're seeing in the Arctic at present as well. We are seeing an increase in the frequency of very low ice on Lake Erie and the Great Lakes in general, and lack of ice cover results in a major shift in the food web. While most people don't realize that ice cover provides physical protection for fish and fish eggs and protects shorelines from erosion. When we really only need a straw to break the camel's back, why should we do it with a sledgehammer? Some things just don't make any sense.
Downtown Cortez is springing to life. According to the Cortez Journal, one such new venture is the third local brewer in town. After more than a year of planning, Tucker Robinson has opened Wild Edge Brewing Collective at 111 North Main Street, North Market Street in Cortez. We're absolutely thrilled, Robinson said Tuesday, the brewery's opening day. Half a dozen people were waiting outside before Robinson opened the doors at 3 p.m. Tuesday. Seats at the bar inside filled up almost instantly as he and other staffers began pouring beers for the brewery's first customers. The brewery currently has 5 house beers on tap, with a 6th beer coming soon, Robinson said. Also on tap is a hard cider from Big B's Juices in Hotchkiss. Robinson said he plans to always have a hard cider on tap in addition to the beers. The beers on tap include an IPA as well as a sour beer and a Saison farmhouse-style beer. He's also excited for people to try the Coffee Stout, which is a collaboration with the Pie Maker Bakery and includes their cold brewed coffee. Wild Edge's food menu will include as much local food as possible. Pastries from the Pie Maker will be available, as well as bratwurst from Sunnyside Meats of Durango. House-made soft pretzels are also available. The meaning behind the Wild Edge name is twofold, Robinson said. With his beer, he wants to stay on the edge and push the limits beyond the current norms of the craft brewing industry. It also is a reference to the place where he lives. We live on the wild edge of Colorado, Robinson said. The brewery becomes the 3rd in Cortez, along with J. Fargo's and Main Street Brewery. There are no TVs on the walls at Wild Edge. Robinson said he wants people to talk with their neighbors and not be distracted. He said, "We want this to be a community space." Next door to the brewery is Cliff Rose on Market, which also opened for business on Tuesday at 101 North Market. The shop offers plants, seeds, and other garden supplies with an emphasis on a more urban atmosphere. Cliff Rose staffer Leslie Morris said, "This downtown energy is a good thing."
Now for the Sheriff's Roundup for the week of April 3 through April 9. A deputy is investigating a report of assault at a Rico business. A town resident reported a vehicle regularly speeding on the street where they live. All deputies have been notified to be on the lookout for this vehicle. A deputy assisted a motorist on Highway 491 near Cross Canyon, and a resident reported a person standing in the middle of the road in front of a town business. A deputy responded, and the pedestrian was taking pictures for insurance from an accident earlier in the week. A calf was reported wandering onto a county road in Cajon. The owner of the animal was not located. A deputy responded to an alarm at a town business, and a deputy investigated, and the owner arrived. Both determined the alarm to be false. That's it for the Roundup. Check back next week for continuing updates.
Here's today's High Country happenings. The Ute Mountain Mesa Verde Birding Festival is calling for all teens Sunday morning, May 14th. A special day includes a birdwatching tour led by a Durango teen birder. Travel by van from the Cortez Cultural Center to Summit Reservoir. Easy hiking, lunch, water, and snacks are included. Call 970-565-1151 for more information or visit the UMMV Birding Festival website. Another Easter alert. The USU Eastern Blanding Student Council and Leadership class presents the Easter Egg Venture, April 12th from 4 to 6 p.m. Kite flying, cookie decorating, hula hooping, and the egg hunt begins at 4:45 p.m. Bring your baskets to the pavilion for some Easter fun. Red Mesa High School class of 2017 is hosting a benefit contest powwow on April 22nd at the Red Mesa High School gym in Red Mesa, Arizona. The Gourd Dance runs at 11 and 5 p.m., the grand entry at 1 and 7 p.m. Food concessions will be sponsored by the RMHS. Arts and crafts places are available. A special girls jingle and boys chicken contest is also in the works. For more information, contact Andrea or Cal Lamaman at 928-656-4177. And if you missed any of those details, don't worry. All of the happenings are listed on the DCTV Facebook page. Check it out. If you have news or event information you'd like us to share, send us an email at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us here at the station, the number 677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember, this program is aired live at noon, Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 3 and 6, and also aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order.
And please check us out on Facebook, DCTV News at Noon. Like us there, join the local conversation, and share it with a friend. A program note that our Talk Tuesday live call-in show now airs live on Tuesday evenings at 5:30 p.m. and can be seen rebroadcast nightly at 5:30 before the evening news replays.
For Kendra Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program, out of Dove Creek, I'm Jerry Tope. Thanks for watching.